Ravens Rundown is your Ravens off-season headquarters, and we want to make sure we get this show out to as many people as possible. So you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Share today's show. Click the share button on YouTube, then select the Facebook icon and click post to Facebook. Then sound off in the Facebook description and let us know how you really feel, folks. And tag Baltimore Ravens by Chat Sports on Twitter. That way we can see that you've shown us some love, and we'll shout you out on a future episode of Ravens Rundown. Share the show. We'd appreciate it. We'll get started here on today's show. Glad to have you with us. Tyler Jones here as we are talking about Pro Football Focus's breakdown of your Baltimore Ravens. They went through all 32 teams across the National Football League and gave rankings and roster projections for the depth chart and some takeaways. And on this edition of the program, we're going to highlight what they said about the Baltimore Ravens. Before we get to the takeaways, just a quick note. PFF, based on their scoring system, rated the Baltimore Ravens as the fifth best team in the NFL heading into 2024. And quite frankly, I think that's a little low. I think anything less than the top three is unfair. But nonetheless, let's hear PFF out as far as their takeaways go. Then we'll get to the depth chart after that. The biggest strength for the Ravens, according to PFF, is the ground game. Hard to argue that with the addition of Derrick Henry, in addition to Lamar Jackson, and some depth at the position as well. When you talk the likes of Justice Hill, Rasheen Ali, Keaton Mitchell when he comes back, the ground game going to be very solid for the Baltimore Ravens in 2024. The biggest weakness the PFF pointed to was the wide receiver position. Yes, you have Zay Flowers coming back after impressive rookie season campaign there, but question marks about Rashad Bateman, how reliable he will be, and then kind of the gap beyond that of who's going to be that next guy, if you will. The X factor for this Ravens team, according to PFF, is offensive guard Andrew Voorhees, who did not play in 2023. How quickly will he adapt and be ready to go to potentially start at that left guard spot? The rookie to watch, according to PFF, a little bit of surprise here. Not Nate Wiggins, not Roger Rosengarten, not TJ Tampa. No, Tez Walker out of North Carolina, who the Ravens selected in the fourth round. Kind of the greatest unknown, if you will. Could he rise his stock all the way to be the number 3 receiver, or will it take him time to learn and adapt? The great unknown with Tez Walker as far as what his role will look like. The over-under for the wins total for the Ravens is 11.5, and PFF is saying take the under on the win total for the Baltimore Ravens heading into this year. The big miss, I think, of all that is the win total here. I think that this Baltimore Ravens team is better than what PFF is giving them credit for. When you look at the roster that's intact, the coaching staff that's in place, I think 12 wins or more is more realistic than less than 11. I don't see this team settling for 9 or 10 wins, whatever it may be. So that part I thought was a bit unfair. I think that they can pull off 12 or more. So let's take a look at PFF's depth chart projection for your Baltimore Ravens. Starting on offense, no surprise, Lamar Jackson, the two-time MVP, the reigning MVP of the National Football League, the starting quarterback, coming in with a strong 90.4 rating from PFF last year. Well, Derrick Henry at the running back spot rolls in with a 90.1 rating. He'll be your RB1. And Justice Hill projected to be the RB2 for now with that 78.3 rating. And there's some competition there at that running back position to compete with Justice Hill. Meanwhile, Zay Flowers, your top receiver, comes in off of a very good rookie campaign with a 76.3 rating there, according to PFF. Will be interesting to see how long Justice Hill can hang on to the RB2 spot this season, whether it's throughout the entire season or if we see Keaton Mitchell emerge when he comes back from injury, whether it's the rookie Rasheen Ali here. The Ravens have a good problem, if you will, when it comes to options with this position group here with a number of guys they can work with. And if history tells us anything, the Ravens have had some bad luck when it comes to the injury front, the running back position. So more than likely, they're going to need all these guys at some point this year. How would you grade the Baltimore Ravens depth chart? Whip out that red pen, show it off, and let us know in the comments section what you think of this Ravens depth chart. A, B, C, D, or F, way in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose two or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. Looking ahead to the start of the NFL season, got DK Metcalf to have more than 1,025.5 receiving yards, and our guy, the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson, to have more than 3,600.5 passing yards. If both those hit, we put $20 down. That's going to turn into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for that $100 deposit match. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Let's continue with the Ravens receivers now. This is where we find Rashad Bateman getting a 61.0 grade from PFF last year, while Deontay Hardy slides into the number 3 receiver spot. The addition that the Ravens made from the Buffalo Bills. He comes in with a 68.9 grade from PFF last year. Mark Andrews, your lead tight end. No surprise there with a 78.8 grade there off of his 2023 campaign. What I do find interesting about this is Hardy over Aguilar. I think that's a bit surprising. I personally think that Aguilar is your number 3 receiver, but we'll see where things change. For me, I'm very intrigued to see if Hardy has a significant role outside of special teams. Will he be an impact player on offense, or is he more so just a special teams guy? That will be determined, but PFF seems to think that he can play a role on the Ravens offense. Let's go to the offensive line now. Ronnie Stanley at the left tackle spot comes in off of a 68.1 grade. Andrew Voorhees, we mentioned, did not play this past season as a rookie. His last grade that he has was from his days at USC, where he registered an 81.9 grade. Tyler Linderbaum at the center position, one of the best starting centers in all of football, with a 78.5 grade. Ben Cleveland gets the nod for the right guard spot with a 65.8 grade. And then here's a bit of a surprise. The starting right tackle, according to PFF, Patrick Mekari with a 71.0 grade, not Roger Rosengarten. And this is one where I totally disagree with. I think barring some type of injury, something catastrophic, Roger Rosengarten, the rookie out of Washington, is going to be your starting right tackle for this Baltimore Ravens team. And we told you earlier in the week, the updates out of OTAs were that this is Rosengarten's job to lose. So that one I was a bit surprised with, a bit perplexed. But nonetheless, what do you guys think? Will Roger Rosengarten be the Ravens starting right tackle week 1? Y for yes, in for no. Way in the comments section, tell us what you think. For the best of Ravens coverage you will not find anywhere else, subscribe now to a Ravens Rundown for daily news and rumors. We're bringing you off-season coverage such as breaking news and analysis, all the Ravens information you need to know. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/RavensTV. Never miss a moment. Lock us in. Anytime the Ravens make any moves, we're going to talk about it here on the channel and keep you up to date. youtube.com/RavensTV. Subscribe now for free. Let's go to the defense now, and this is where we begin with Justin Madubuike, who is much richer now than what he was a few months ago. He comes in off of a season where he had a 77.4 grade by PFF, and Michael Pierce slides in next to him off of a very good year in his own right with an 80.1 grade by PFF. Odafe Oweh gets one of the edge rusher spots off of a 77.5 grade, and Kyle Van Noy also coming back on a new 2-year contract comes in with a 75.0 grade. Tavius Robinson, who we did not see a ton of in 2023, he kind of falls into the replacement role for Jadeveon Clowney. He's got some work to do off of a 55.9 grade last year. Roquan Smith, the best linebacker at all of football, he comes in with a 77.9 grade. And if you look a little further, his coverage statistics were really good from PFF last year. Malik Harrison gets the nod for the other linebacker spot with a 74.0 .3 grade. We'll talk about that position more in just a moment. While Marlon Humphrey gets one of the nods for the starting corner spots with a 65.3 grade for the former Pro Bowler. I do think PFF is sleeping a bit on Trenton Simpson. He's looked great in OTAs. He's come into workouts in great shape, they're saying, that he certainly looks the part at this point, that he's come a long way from what he was when we last saw him on the football field Week 17 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he should win the starting job over Malik Harrison. I would be surprised, but nonetheless, you do have options to work with here if you're the Baltimore Ravens, so that's a very good thing in regards to replacing Patrick Queen. Who starts? Is it Trenton Simpson or is it Malik Harrison? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Type TS for Trenton Simpson, MH for Malik Harrison, and let us know. Nate Wiggins, the rookie out of Clemson, coming off a very impressive year with the Clemson Tigers where he had an outstanding 82.5 grade. He gets one of the starting spots at corner, as does Brandon Stevens as well with a 67.4 grade there where he started most of the season last year for the Baltimore Ravens in 2023. Kyle Hamilton gets one of the safety spots. We saw him a lot at nickelback, but it sounds like more so this year he is going to solidify himself as a full-time safety role. Had a great grade last year, according to PFF, of an 86.4. That was the highest of any player on the Ravens defense. And Marcus Williams on the other safety spot with a 73.8 grade there. A lot of depth in this secondary. And I know that, we talked about all the starters there just a moment ago, from Humphrey to Wiggins, Stevens, Hamilton, Williams, and whatnot. But think about the other guys as well. When we mentioned TJ Tampa, who I think is going to be a very good player, the rookie out of Iowa State, or Darius Washington, who's had a good OTAs, Jalen Armour-Davis, you got some other pieces to work with. And I think we'll see a decent amount of those guys as well. The Ravens, on paper, look like they have the best secondary in the National Football League right now. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of a Ravens Rundown. Share the show. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.